All right, Kyle from allmusikreviews.blogspot.com. Now the top 4 albums I showed at the end of the last video. Marillion's album F.E.A.R, which I've talked about, not ad nauseum, which I have. Let me pull this out so I can also show the compact disc copy, of course, too. Their 18th studio album. They're my favorite band, so I have a fanboy bias on this record. It's better than I'm enjoying it better than the last couple of records. Sounds That Can't Be Made and Happiness Is the Road, probably, to a point. It might have finished higher. It might have even been my favorite record of the year had it not been so methodical and sort of it's more of the album experience as opposed to the sort of addictive quality. There's a lot of sort of mood element points in this record between parts of El Dorado, the Levers, and the New Kings, especially El Dorado, I would say. Living in Fear and White Paper, which are on the vinyl second, on just side 2. I didn't realize that the way the track order worked on here, because I think the CD is a little different. Yeah. But my favorite being the Levers, the jumble of days, the guitar textures are just dreamy as hell on that. The whole thing, though, that record, that's part of the suite. Even though lyrically it's sort of about social, people wanting to leave and people staying in the society. I don't know if it's a reaction to Brexit, but again, they wrote this way before the whole Brexit news came out. But New King's the first song. It's got great segues. It's between Fuck Everyone and Run. I didn't even say that. This is the name. F.E.A.R, Fuck Everyone. The title track. Rush's Locked Doors. A Scary Sky, and Why Is Nothing Ever True. I think that song was one of a few different moments on this where the last piece could go on, or there was a part that could go on for longer, especially the guitar work. Mark Kelly is all over this record, though, which I think that's one reason why it stands out more than some of the last few records. And I like El Dorado. Probably my favorite part would be the F.E.A.R section, maybe the Grandchildren of Apes, but I don't know. I love Marillion, my favorite band. This is a record I should revisit, although I haven't listened to Sounds That Can't Be Made that much since it came out in 2012, so I think I will probably want to just assume I'm going to give more time to this thing, but if I was floored by it the way people are comparing it to Brave and even Marbles, I probably would have put it higher than number 4, but I have to be honest, I can't just, let my fanboy glasses kill my my actual evaluation of it, so. Alright, so number 3, The Deer Hunters, Act 5, Hymns with the Devil and Confessional, and having now spent a little more time with it, but still digesting it, I'm starting to believe all the high praise again with this, like Act 4, and I think I actually enjoy this slightly more than Act 4, mainly because I think it flows better. I think it flows better and it hits you. I mean, Act 4, the issue with it is it seems like the last 4 or 5 tracks are just attached on the end to me. Whereas this is better, like bookended, and the kind of story works maybe on a more kind of conceptual level as one album. My favorite song probably is the ballad Light, believe it or not, which is just gorgeous. The vocal harmonies, and it's just less is more, but so beautiful. It fits sort of the story and just sort of as like a singer-songwriter. It's almost like Nick Drake. Or some of the songs off the Color Spectrum, is it the Yellow EP? I'm thinking the Yellow EP or the Orange EP, one of those two. I think it's the Yellow EP. But my other favorites, Mr. Usher, it's very kind of retro. Casey doing his sort of homage to, it reminds me actually some of the stuff from Act 2 in some ways, but it's almost like a Sinatra thing. It reminds me of like a Sinatra track or Tony Bennett or something at points. Let's see here. Gloria, The Revival, very earwormy, the 2 singles, the earliest singles. Cascade, The Most Cursed of Hands, Who Am I, that's sort of a sweet. And then maybe my favorite part of the record other than Light, probably I believe it's called the A Beginning, the last track. The Blood and A Beginning, but A Beginning. They reprise a melody that's brought in, I think it's on Regress or the Moon / I think it's the Moon / Awake, talking about an apparition and telling the story about the kid and his, what he's going to do, what he's done, what he's going to do. I don't know, someday I'm going to have to invest some time into the whole concept and everything. So, yeah, no, I mean, this is like an hour, a little over an hour long, like Act 4. Act 4 I think was even longer than that. But I think this just slightly works better because I don't find that I need to skip anything, or not skip anything, but I don't find there's any like lull. Whereas Act 4, it's like some of the songs at the end, I'm like kind of wondering, it's like why were these on the record exactly, other than for the story, I suppose. So, all right, so moving on to number 2. It was number 1 for most of the year. Not most, well, I was torn by it, but I had to put it at number 2 mainly because I never fully thought this was like the staple record down the road compared to say the one that finished number 1. I don't know, it's kind of a push, but I do love this record, especially the Cloud Cult record, The Seeker. Very little attention to it, unfortunately. The film adds so much more to it, and the film helped this record, my appreciation of this record. My favorite part of this still remains the song "You Never Were Alone." That is one of the greatest Cloud Cult songs ever written. Mainly just because you see the whole part in the film where the girl realizes she sees her dad and all this stuff. It's just it's so sad and happy and sad at the same time. But the whole record works. It's another great Cloud Cult record. I would put it maybe slightly above Love. Light Chasers, maybe not musically, but at least conceptually, maybe surpasses Light Chasers even. But To the Great Unknown, Chromatica, Come Home, No Hell's a catchy single they released. That was the first single. Everything You Thought You Had, Pilgrimage, very it's almost like mathy if I'm not mistaken. A lot of textures on that. The Through the Ages. It's a 50-minute record, and oh man, this is just, it brought me to tears. It still brings me to tears. That's all I need to know. But why it didn't finish number 1, I don't know. I may regret it years from now thinking, why this was number 1 most of the year. I was waiting for something to sort of supplant it or just like grab me and bring me to tears like this album did. It didn't really quite happen though. So from an emotional standpoint, this album has brought me deeper, but from an addictive sort of loving sort of the musical part of it, I guess I couldn't quite give it the top spot, but it's more or less a push. But that top spot, of course, I forgot to show the Deer Hunter CD. I got that finally too, but I thought I actually did buy The Seeker on CD, but I guess I didn't. The top spot goes to Fate's Warning, and I have that on CD in multiple copies, as you can see. Theories of Flight, and I'm a Fate's Warning fanboy, just like Marillion and the Deer Hunter, most of these bands anyways. The Light and Shade of Things is one of the best pieces Jim Matheos and the band's ever come up with, on par with Still Remains almost in some ways, and some of the stuff from A Pleasant Shade of Grey. It's got great segues and just epic vocals, and oh my god, I love Fate's Warning when they're doing their best and they come up with something magical. It's like some of my favorite music ever. I mean, it is. That's why they're one of my favorite bands of all time. The other songs from this record are all good. Ghosts of Home, another epic that people love. The sort of ambient samples sort of close it off the record on the title track, Theories of Flight. 7 Stars is a catchy track with very accessible vocals and very energetic. From the Rooftops, Like Stars Our Eyes Have Seen, that's maybe some people thought that the weakest track, but I still enjoy that. And White Flag's another one. Very accessible song. I mean, Darkness in a Different Light from 2013, I bought. I like it still, but I never got fully attached to it. It was great to see them come back and just win me over again. And, this is why it's my album of the year. I mean, I could have probably gone with Cloud Cult over it. It's a push. There has to be one. I'd have co-number ones. I did that one year. But I guess my gut just said this is the record that just, it's a top 5 Fates Warning record probably. And it's got that really, just probably my favorite song of the year, The Light and Shade of Things. And that's why it's number 1. So that's that. That's the long spiel, the top 4 records of 2015, 2016 for the All Me Reviews blog. Go ahead on this video or the other videos, if you haven't got to this video yet, post your top 10, 20 records and maybe what you're looking forward to. Curious about any of these records I showed. My apologies for some of the memory and the details, I try to remember some of the stuff. Some of this, I had a busy year because I had a wedding to plan and pay for and everything, and working tons of overtime, 10 to 15 hours a week, and it was a long year. Next coming year, I have a long year ahead of me too, of course, because I need to worry about where I'm living and stuff like that. So, but thanks for watching. Please comment, subscribe, and I should have the 2016-2017 preview videos up, videos, might be a couple of them. The next couple weeks, hopefully, maybe earlier, and a post on the blogs. I've already done a list on the Dream Theater forums, so. But thanks for watching. See you next time.